Really, things started changing for you. I don't want to really fast forward too much, but I find your story to be so freaking interesting, almost from the onset, maybe a little bit before the pandemic, and you decided to just sell everything. And
I kind of had to. I did an apprenticeship back when I was like 19 or 20 or something out in Colorado with my dad's army buddy. Like my middle name's after him. He's like family. Tom Thornburg, amazing bluegrass banjo player and an amazing luthier. So I went and apprenticed with him, and I moved back to my hometown and worked. And I built Spectre basses out in Woodstock, and they're a great bass company. And I basically just was milling wood and sanding up basses, make carving necks and bodies, and I tried my best to make a living, but as you know, being in the north, it's like you got 8 months of winter, and it's music just kind of dies, and bar gigs are hard, and I just couldn't make it, and I can't do any other work. I always was like, I only work jobs that would take my body and not my mind, because I had to write, and I wrote my records on the clock, and I'm sorry to my bosses, but so I always did kind of labor jobs, construction, or whatever, cutting trees, and you just can't really make it like that. So I just got to a point where I sold everything and moved into a Winnebago, and my thought process was like, one, I love camping and I don't need much, and I towed a Honda Accord that had a PA system in it, and basically the strategy was to work trade. So I would go to state parks or trailer parks, campgrounds, whatever it was, and I'd work about 20 hours a week and trade for a free place to stay, free internet, and a hookup for your sewer, water, whatever you need. And then I would travel with the Honda Accord about 400 miles from that location, and that was what I planned to do for, I don't know, forever basically. But I just kind of sent it, and that was one of the best experiences I could have had.
where'd that mentality come from?
It's kind of not really frowned upon to get in a van and go travel as a musician up there. But honestly, my parents, the best thing, like my mom, sadly she's passed away now, but she was just one of those amazing people where I was like, yeah, I think I'm just going to go live in a van and travel and make music. And she was like, do you know how many people would love that?
Yeah.
Like, she was like, what a beautiful van. You're going to have a great time. So I had that kind of support where that's the best kind. That's
Sure.
more than any kind of money or anything in the life, is to
Absolutely.
go pursue your dreams kind of support. So I
Yeah.
always had that.
That is something we talk about on this show a lot. Obviously, I talk to at least two musicians every week, right? So,
Yeah.
as a genesis story for each of y'all, whether you're a songwriter, an artist, whatever your role is in music, I feel like the parental support is either one of two things. It's either completely frowned upon from our prior generation because it's not a quote unquote real job. And
Yeah.
you should get a real job and you should be blue collar and work your ass off until, there's no ass left to work. Or what sounds like your case, your parents are just extremely supportive of no matter what your choices are.
Yeah, they were always happiness. Like whatever you want to do, you go do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I don't know. They didn't really care. And at the time, I was just living kind of randomly anyway. Had been traveling for years, so it was kind of normal. But it's a huge thing, man. Just to I feel like everybody's always one person away from taking that leap to actually chase a crazy dream.
Mm-hmm.
You just need one person to be like, hey, yeah, that's a great idea.
Absolutely. You just have to have that validation because your inner voice, especially as an only child, I know this to be true, your inner voice is going to talk you out of anything good you think is going to be good for yourself, right?
Always,
So,
man,
yeah.
always.
Yeah. So if somebody else says, hey, man, that's a great idea, man, that voice can disappear for a little while, and that's
It's all you need, and then you
Yeah.
take a leap.
Yep. So again, I talked about these interviews being very circular. The circle's coming around pretty quick this time.
Sure.
I love how kind of your nomadic lifestyle was for a while there. Being on the road, trading services, playing all of these different styles and different kinds of venues that you've played, from restaurants and festivals and you've played a lot of different styles and kinds of venues. And then looking at you now, where your storytelling is so great within your craft, while also remaining commercial, which is really the big balance for a full time artist, is being commercial but also being true to your creativeness, integrity, and your art. I feel like that could be like that line could be drawn to your nomadic lifestyle, helping you with those experiences, right?
Oh yeah, well, thank you, man. That's very kind of you. But I think for me, I'm just a student. Um, I don't really think of the music I'm making as anything that needs to be any specific thing.
Okay.
Like when I got to Nashville, like let's take that. It was the first time I ever co-wrote with anybody. Because again, only child,
Yep.
upstate. It's like I don't. There's not that culture.
Yep.
And being here, when I first came into the rooms, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just absorb, because it's like I've been writing my own music for so many years. I'm just gonna come in and I'm gonna learn and I'm gonna absorb. And the commercial thing, before I got to Nashville, I was writing like 6 minute
Yeah.
songs with like a pedal steel, fiddle, cello, like really stuff with key changes and time signature changes. And it was not really commercial. It was just,
Right.
I was just expressing all the time. And Nashville really helped me kind of take that and pocket it into a little bit more of a structure. And I've really learned to like love that. And it's fun, and there's a method to music that it's like a live show. The set and the pulse of it and the timing and the set list is very important, and I'm really a student of that, where I just want to make people feel good. And I think pop and commercial is more about how do you make this so it's a little bit more accessible to a broader audience, but how do you say something nobody's ever said? That's kind of my thinking. It's like I'd like to be creative inside of that.
I love this so much, man. We're gonna have fun with this conversation. So,
Yeah, thanks
again,
for having me.
such a unique experience coming from you. You're an only child. You're from upstate New York. That's almost two strikes against you when it comes.
I
to,
know. I like them.
like
Strike all day.
yeah, like the Nashville lifestyle. So when you come to Nashville, right, and you're wanting to get into these rooms and you want to absorb, you want to sponge everything. You're an only child. You're from upstate New York. There's gonna be some ego at play there, I imagine. Just from being a only child myself, I could be very, egocentric when it comes to my toys, so to speak. So,
Sure.
how did you learn how to just absorb and kind of swallow that ego, leave it at the door, so to speak?
I would say playing with some bluegrass players in the previous years. Nothing's going to shut your ego up than playing with bluegrass musicians.
Yeah.
You'd be like, you know what? I'm not that good. and when I came to Nashville the first time, I was just passing through. It was just a part of a tour, and I got stuck here in COVID. And then it just turned into a billion things. And by the time I've gone into those rooms, I had been humbled in life very, very many times. So I really didn't need another, and I was just excited to learn.
That's awesome stuff. Yeah, because I've heard so many songwriters on this show say, leave your ego at the door when you're co-writing, when you have those sessions. Yeah.
Well, you never know, man. I mean, we cut a song on the record from a guy that just had an idea, and we took the title into the room together and wrote it one day and gave him a cut on the song because it was just such a great title.
Yeah.
And it's like you never know who it is. And I write with a lot of people that don't play an instrument, they don't sing, and just have a brilliant way of formulating thoughts in the room into lines, and all of a sudden they're just your favorite song. So
Yeah, there's all kinds of songwriters, definitely.